Welcome back to Bitcoin Biscuits, and today I'm going to be talking to you about what happens when the government in America shuts down and how does that affect the price of Bitcoin, if it does at all. I'm going to be going over the last time that this happened and looking at what happened to the price when the government shut down, during the period they were shut down, and then also after the government reopened, what happened to the price of Bitcoin in the weeks after that, so that we can get an idea as to what might happen this time when the government finally decides to reopen, because currently it's going for its longest period ever in history of being shut down, and there doesn't seem to be any resolution in sight. So to kick things off, I've marked out here, you'll see on the red line is when the government shuts down, and I've drawn a green line for when the government reopens. Obviously we haven't reopened yet, so currently we don't know when that green line is going to be coming into place, but so far you can see that the price action of Bitcoin has been pretty poor ever since we had the government shutdown. Actually what happened was that we basically topped out the week that they shut down, and then ever since it's just been going down. The price of Bitcoin has been going down, and we've currently dropped from the top of that candle down to the bottom. We dropped 21, nearly 22%, currently down about 19% on the Bitcoin price. So that's what's happening at the moment. I think a lot of investors into Bitcoin are really hoping that a resolution comes soon, hopefully next week, and that will put some positivity back into the markets, and Bitcoin can continue its merry way onto its trip to the moon. But for the time being, we don't know what's happening. So let's have a little look at the last time that we had a government shutdown, which funnily enough was back when Donald Trump was in office again, and was previously the longest period when the American government was shut down. I cannot remember for how many days, but I've got a table which will show it in a minute. But first, let's just have a look at this. So you can see here that the government shutdown happened here where that green candle is, and if I just get the brush, give me 2 seconds, here it is. You can see essentially what happened was the week that the government shut down, we had a really good week. We went up in value, but then it went sideways for 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks, or 3 weeks, and then we did drop. As you can see just here, we dropped down, and then the government reopened. And actually what happened was that after the government reopened, the price of Bitcoin continued going down. As you can see, in the week after it, the price continued going down. Before then, the week after that, price then went up and continued going up for quite some time. So if I just remove those, and we can zoom in here and have a little look at exactly what happened. Oh, I'm drawing like little yellow dots all over the place, which we don't want, so just get rid of those. So if you just have a look at a price range, so this is when the government shutdown started, and by the time it reopened, the price had dropped 13, nearly 14%, but we actually closed all the way back up at about 10 to 11% down, so it lost 10 to 11%. The following week after, Bitcoin's price then dropped from there down to there, which is around about another 5% ish, around about, before bottoming out and then continuing on its merry way to the moon, obviously, until we hit quantitative tightening, and then, well, you know what happened. The price of Bitcoin just continued to plummet about 50% or more. In fact, I think it was more than that. Let me just show you. So from the actual top down, it dropped 72%. Obviously that dip there is because of COVID, so if you ignore that, then you're looking at around about 53-54% dip from the top anyway. And that's because of QT coming to an end, which I've explained in one of my other videos, and that's something that I'm looking out for because we know that quantitative tightening is coming to an end in December. So I really do think that we've got a short period of time at the moment for Bitcoin to rally before it possibly does then go and put in lower prices, because I do think 2026 is going to be a bear market. But before we go, I just wanted to go over a little bit more history, because I asked Gemini about this. Here we are. We've got this little table here which goes over the price history of Bitcoin every time we have a government shutdown in Bitcoin's history. So the current one, Bitcoin's price is strongly negative. Bitcoin is trading as a risk asset. Investors are fleeing to the US dollar as the preferred safe haven, and the shutdown is creating market-wide liquidity problems. So it's not good. The last time where we had a 35-day shutdown, 2018 to 2019, its price action was negative as well. So Bitcoin's price declined, but it was already in a severe bear market. The shutdown was likely not the primary driver of the price action, which is true, to be fair. Like currently we're in a bull market, but the price action's been negative because of the shutdown, and it may have nothing to do with it. In all honesty, it may have nothing to do with it. So yeah, you can't really compare them. In all honesty, I just think it's interesting to go back and look at these things and just see whether or not it's had an impact. And then the one before that was all the way back in 2013, where it was shut down for only 16 days, and actually Bitcoin's price action was strongly positive. Bitcoin's price rallied significantly. At this early stage in history, it was seen by some investors as a true hedge against government dysfunction. So there you go. So that's it. You know, Bitcoin's not really been around for that long, to be honest. So it's not been through a period where there's been loads of government shutdowns. So that's what we're looking out for at the moment. And the other thing, as I said in my previous video, I will just point this out one more time. Well, I'll probably point out many times, is that we're looking for Bitcoin to close below the 50-week moving average. If it closes below that 50-week moving average, which is currently sat, it's very close, it's currently sat underneath it, but the 50-week is at 102,968, and we are currently sat at 101,786. So we've got about just over a day and a half before the candle closes. It needs to get back above that. If it doesn't, then next week it really does need to get back above it, because as you can see previously in history, it has held the 50-week as support, like on multiple occasions. You know, like here and here, and all the way down there as well. I don't know what I'm doing there, but yeah, you can see around here as well. It held as support ever since we started the bull run. And previously, whenever it's broken down or closed a couple of weekly candles below, like here, it didn't do that. It managed to close back above on that second week, and then it continued up, put in a new high, and then it went down. Then it closed a couple of weekly candles down below this 50-week before breaking down, coming up to retest it as resistance, did not get through, and then we were in a bear market and we dropped like 70%. So that's what I'm trying to avoid at the moment. And so I'm really keeping a close eye on that. But I'm just thinking, if we get the government shutdown come to an end like next week, it could be good. It could be good. And you know why? There's another reason why, actually. It's not only, and it would actually be so funny if this happens, if this coincides with the government shutdown reopening, is the if you just bear with me 2 seconds, I will show you a few things. If I just get rid of that and add in the sorry, just bear with me 2 seconds. Which one is it? I never normally use it like this. I just need to put on a moving average. There we go. Right, and then I just need to flip that moving average over to the 200. Now we've got the 200 moving average, the daily moving average, and the 50 moving average converging together. So that this is actually when the 50 drops below the 200, that's called a death cross, which sounds pretty bad, but historically, every time we've had a death cross, if I just quickly go back and show you, the last time we've had it a couple of times in this bull market already. So we had one right here, if I just zoom in and show you, like right here where the 50 dropped below the 200, it basically marked our bottom in the price of Bitcoin. Like, yeah, the day after was actually the bottom. And then from there, Bitcoin's price went in and put in a new all-time high. The time before that, if I just remove my terrible drawings, we had the 50 drop below that. So the white line's the 50, the 200 is the blue line. So when it dropped below, very close to the bottom, right? So actually what happened was, in this case, that when it dropped, it was around about here on the 8th of August in 2024. It was actually, the bottom was already in, literally 1, 2, 3 days prior to the death cross happening. Okay, that was it. That was the bottom. It then went in to put in new all-time high. So I think you get the story. Basically, if you go back and look, you'll see that happens more often than not. So it is possible that the bottom's already in, because it doesn't always happen on the day of the death cross, or that sometimes it can happen a few days before, and sometimes it can happen a few days after. But generally, it's around about the bottom because it's a lagging indicator, and from that point on, we get a rally. So I'm just thinking next week, if we get the government shutdown come to an end, and because Donald Trump did actually ask them to stay in, the Senate to stay in over the weekend and try and come up with a deal. So if they manage to get that resolved, then, you know, this could all coincide and we could get new all-time highs. So, but anyway, I have sort of gone off on a bit of a tangent. This one was about how the government shutdown affects the price of Bitcoin, and it turns out it doesn't really. It doesn't. More often than not, it's been negative though. When the government has been in shutdown, the price action has been negative. So that's what we can take from that. Anyway, guys, thanks very much for watching. If you like the video, hit the like button. Please comment down below. Subscribe to the channel, and also share as well, just to get it out there, because currently I'm not getting any views. So if you liked it, please do show your support. Thanks very much, and do take care. Bye for now.